What's going on, guys? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment. Without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So this is the sunflowers right now. As you can see, we got some pretty cool stuff going for our mammoths. Absolutely huge. Pretty happy with those. Hibiscus is looking nice. The sunflowers here. We're going to be hoping to save them from seed. I'm not sure how they're doing, but I am interested to find out here, hopefully in the near future. Some of our okra and stuff's coming out. You can see the bare spot from the corn that we harvested. We do have some sweet corn trying to come up now. The onions did not do very well. I think it has something to do with like overwatering, non-viable seed, which we'll be getting into a little bit. Tomatoes are beginning to produce here. Of course, we have our, hey little buddy. We also have our trombone squash producing pretty well. We have one that's almost ready. It's starting to get the tan as necessary here. It's pretty huge. Pretty happy with it. I think it's something we're for sure going to keep adding into the garden because I like the size and the way you can use it. The fact that you can use it any stage. Because as you can see over here with our other one, the butternut squash is the only one that actually took off on our adaptive gardening so far. So adding something different would be nice to where it's not just hard all the time. In terms of the corn genetics, so we mixed, some people call it Indian corn. It's more of a decorative corn. But we mixed a grain corn, kind of like this, with sweet corn. So you can see, even on the seeds, there's already a noticeable difference. It doesn't taste that great right now, but this is the first kind of part of the process. And the fact that we actually got corn with minimal effort, it's already a win. In terms of bell peppers, we've been struggling on saving the seeds. I don't know how well y'all can see that. I think on these I'm going to do a viability test to see what the germination rate is, because for some reason they keep drying out and I don't think that's normal. We've tried different stages, but like I said, we're just struggling with it, so we're going to try some different things, try to figure that out. We also got some lemon trees in from a buddy of mine. Shout out to him, you know who you are. A basket of fire slowly starting to take off. We do have some flowers in here. The cosmos are absolutely loving life. They have been slowly beginning to flower. Actually starting to battle with our mystic spears here. The Vix plant's doing pretty good. It's a lot more bushy than I initially thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to have a better spread, but it's not dying back. So, you know, the Vix plant still works. It smells great. This is the ice cap rose that I got for the wife. You can see it's starting to flower. It's doing great. We did have a casualty. This blueberry died back. I'm just going to leave it, let it cook, do its thing. There is still some green to it. I think it has something to do with the acidity level. I don't think we got to it in time, but you know, live and learn. The cucumbers are beginning to take off here. Pretty happy with those. We got a basil here. The bell peppers we have are some chocolate bell peppers and green bell peppers. And that's also part of why we're struggling with getting the seeds, is figuring out the stages because the colorings are different. This is the peach tree. As you can see, it's actually gotten significantly taller since the last time frame. We also just harvested another trombone squash here. We just harvested a baby this morning off of it. Of course, we got our green beans growing with our tomatoes here. They're doing good. Just trellis that back up. This one seems to be doing okay. You can see a lot more green growth into it. I think it's staying wet a little bit longer than I'd like, but I think the sulfur is starting to work. The rose here, starting to have some issues with it. Looks like potentially some sort of fungal infection, could be from all the rain we've been getting, so it's somewhat understandable. The cucumber over here is almost time to be harvesting for seed. For those of you that know, once they start to turn yellow, you can see there's a yellowing one back here. Once they fully yellow, they are ready for seed, so that guy we're going to be saving seed with pretty soon with production. Again, this is our plant that is only for seed. The other plants will be for actual edible cucumbers. This asparagus, you can see it's leafing out really nice, very tall. Sage is doing great. Because of the size of some of our herbs, we're actually going to start drying them soon because we need to start processing with the amount that we have. As you can see, we have a huge sage bush that needs to get cut back. Dragon fruit is taking off. It's almost going to be time to transplant it pretty soon. And once it hits the top here, I'll be putting it in a larger container. Apple or pear, whatever it is, doing about the same even though we up-potted it. Mountain laurel, again about the same. Rosemary's doing great. Lemon balm, loquat, phenomenal. We have had an outbreak with the, I think it's called dog vomit mycelium. It's common in new beds, so I'm not too sure why we're getting it now. But that may be out competing, between that and the ink caps, actually may be out competing our oyster mushrooms. So we hopefully will be updating with that after winter, come spring when it's time for mushroom production again, to see how the oysters held up over the year span. The mint, we just cut it back because it was about twice the size it is now. You see the aloe looking nice. Of course, we also have our fig over here. The fig hasn't increased too terribly much in size. We have had a couple of taller pieces here pop up, but nothing crazy. Again, the oregano, we just recently cut it back. These are spreading really nice. I'm not too crazy happy with the lemon balm there. It's bushing out, it's taken over like mint. I was wanting it to have a little bit lower profile, but live and learn. The thyme, again, same thing. Apple tree, we just recently finished our LST. You can see it's done its work. It's keeping them kind of straight like this guy here. This is the thyme. Like I said, we cut it back today, but it started with a little bush this size, if y'all remember, and I mean it's already taken off and spreading here. Again, our lamb's ear here has actually been spreading nicely. I've been pretty happy with this. I am interested to see, apparently it's good for like colds and things. It's like antimicrobial or antibacterial. I don't quite remember it, so don't quote me on that. But I will be interested in trying to dry this because apparently it has great medicinal values, dried as an herb and drank as a tea. This is the bell pepper that's we're primarily using for seed, just so we could have some form of consistency. And of course, we have the moringa tree here. It has this weird leaf curl. Not too sure what's going on there, but it is doing good nonetheless. You can see it's got a lot of branches coming out. It's bushing out really nice. Another thing is that this tomato over here has had really bad leaf curl. I think it has something to do with the genetics of it. I'm not too terribly happy with it. However, we are just barely starting production. So I think we'll see what it does and how it does. For sure, as of current, I want to save this seed. I just got to see how it is. And of course, you can see it's got the Roma genetics to it, and the Romas always do phenomenal. In terms of the bed over here, like I said, we have started to slowly add stuff. There's no corn there. So there's some green beans. We also got our loofah down in here that we're going to start trellising up this hole here. And then another cool thing that I've been working on. Oh, Candace flowering, nice and pretty. We have some green beans down here at the base of these sunflowers, so the goal is that eventually these sunflowers will also have other things growing on them as a potential trellis system. I mean, these bamboo sticks are really nice, but I would prefer to have something organic that we can chop back when we're done. Look at that. Full of life. But yeah, so once these dry, we can chop the heads off, get the seeds that we want, and then use the leaves as a mulch like we did here. And then of course have this huge, I mean just absolutely huge stalk to trellis on. We recently tied up our cucumber here. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. See you guys in the next video. Peace. Be kind out there.